You don't run to a publisher and put it all in print with the intention of hurting the person, talking about how he's always scowling at me and how he used the press agencies within the palace to hurt me and his unattractive bald head, and he looks nothing like our mother. I mean, he hates his brother. That's the big reveal that we've seen so far. He can't stand Prince William.
Yes, but the tragedy, and it is a tragedy in all this, is that until Meghan appeared on the scene, Harry and William were very, very close friends, and they were known as the Three Musketeers with Kate. They were an extremely happy group, the three of them. And when Meghan arrived in her first appearance in public with the three, it was meant to be the Fab Four. And on stage, it began to unravel as Meghan began saying how she would use her new status to campaign. And William and Kate said that, that is not what the royal family does. And even Harry said, well, marriage first. And Meghan then snaps, well, we can multitask. There's no need to wait. And that's the point. Meghan, has a history of disturbing relationships with the family. And as predicted by many people, she has now destroyed the relationship between Harry and his family. What's surprising is the question really is whether Harry realizes himself how he has completely cut himself off, and whether if something goes wrong in his own marriage, which is possible, whether he'll be able to survive. I mean, what does he then do? I mean, it's quite extraordinary that he thinks that this can somehow go unchallenged and without an answer. But I've got to tell you one thing which is very important to understand, that King Charles hates confrontations. He is riddled with guilt about what happened to his marriage and his children. And it's very hard to see that he will do the right thing, which is to challenge his son's recollection. That's the problem. They are hiding at the moment, in my view, in Buckingham Palace. They're hoping it will go away, and it won't.
Tom Bower just dropped a bombshell about Meghan Markle's role in destroying Prince Harry and Prince William's once-close bond. And let me tell you, this is worse than we thought. Before Meghan came into the picture, Harry, William, and Kate were known as the Three Musketeers, a tight-knit royal team. But once Meghan arrived, everything changed. According to Tom Bower, Meghan's behavior pushed Harry away from his brother, and now, their relationship may never be repaired. So how did Meghan single-handedly unravel a decades-long brotherly bond? So let's start with what Tom Bower revealed, because folks, this is shocking. Before Meghan, Harry and William were inseparable. They were more than just brothers, they were best friends. William, Kate, and Harry formed what many called the Three Musketeers. They supported each other through everything. But then, Meghan entered the picture and everything changed. According to Bower, the very first time Meghan joined William, Kate, and Harry for a public event, things got tense. She was eager to campaign and push her personal brand using royal status. But William and Kate immediately shut it down, reminding her that this is not how the monarchy works. And guess what? Even Harry agreed. And how did Meghan react? She snapped, saying, "We can multitask. There's no need to wait." That was the beginning of the end. From that moment, Harry was forced to choose between his wife and his brother. And guess what? He chose Meghan.
And these two are cashing in on these stories, and they're making hundreds of millions of dollars. So there's no reason to think they'll stop doing that. It's very lucrative for them. One of the allegations that is an eye opener is Harry alleging that William and Kate were not only totally delighted with his Nazi costume, but were behind it, were the reason he wore it in the first place. He says that they howled with laughter when they saw him dressed for this 2005 party. Harry was 20, William would have been 22. And that the Sun newspaper published this front page photo of him dressed as a Nazi soldier. The picture was taken at this costume party with a native and colonial theme. William was also a guest. He dressed as a lion. And this is obtained by Page 6, Harry writing that when he chose the outfit, it was a toss-up between two costumes, a pilot or a Nazi. Quote, "I phoned Willie and Kate, asked what they thought. Nazi uniform, they said." Harry writes, adding that when he went home and tried it on for them, they both howled, worse even than Willie's leotard. that he was going to wear, way more ridiculous, which again was the point. Then while he's calling this one of the biggest mistakes in his life, in his Netflix series, he goes on to say that, let's see, well, basically that they enjoyed it and that they wanted it, that they would coax him into it. So this dovetails with, I guess, a royal historian Robert Lacey's publication in 2020, where he suggested the first sign of trouble between the brothers came then, at this moment, back when 2005, when Harry was 20, when Harry was resentful. He bore the brunt of public outrage over his Nazi costume, even though William helped choose it. To me, what that tells me, Tom, and you're the expert at this, is that Harry talked to Robert Lacey for Robert's book and was trying to get this story out there for a while now, since the rift after Meghan.
Well, I don't think Harry didn't speak to Robert Lacey. I don't think that. But what I do think is that Harry's friends put that round at a very late date. What is surprising is it took 10 years for this story to emerge. And there's no doubt that at the time of this great furor, if that was true, that it was the idea of the Cambridges, that would have leaked out to Harry's friends and been told to a newspaper. And for all these years, that hasn't come out. So I think, once again, one has to treat this with some skepticism. Why now? It's so easy for Harry to say that, and so difficult for William and Kate to deny it, because then it really does become a fight in the gutter, and he gets away with it. And of course, the ghostwriter will be thrilled with that exchange.
Now, here's where things get really interesting, because Bower suggests that Meghan actively pushed Harry to see William as the enemy. Think about it. Before Meghan, there was no sign of tension between Harry and William. But after she arrived, Harry suddenly started complaining about his brother. Suddenly, he was saying things like, "William didn't support my marriage. William and Kate never welcomed Meghan. William used the palace PR machine to make me look bad." But here's the problem. None of this started until Meghan came into the picture. So the question is, was Harry being influenced to see William in a negative light? And let's not forget, Meghan's past is filled with broken family relationships. She cut off her father. She cut off her half-siblings. Was Harry just the next person on the list? And now the biggest question of all. If Harry's marriage with Meghan ever falls apart, will he realize what he lost? Because at this rate, he may never be able to repair things with William. And now let's talk about King Charles, because according to Bower, he is terrified of confronting Harry. Apparently, Charles is so riddled with guilt over his past mistakes as a father that he refuses to hold Harry accountable. Even when Harry attacked the royal family in interviews, Charles remained silent. And here's the real problem. By not stepping in, Charles is allowing this feud to continue. He's hoping the tension will fade away, but as Bower points out, that's never going to happen as long as Meghan and Harry keep cashing in on royal scandals. So at this point, will Charles ever put his foot down and demand Harry take responsibility? Or will he just keep hoping things fix themselves? Because let's be real, this is not going away on its own. And now let's ask the big question. Is there any way back for Harry and William? Or is their bond completely shattered forever? Harry has repeatedly thrown his brother under the bus in interviews. He wrote an entire book, Spare, attacking William. Meghan and Harry have shown no interest in repairing ties with the royal family. William has reportedly given up on fixing things with Harry. At this point, how could William ever trust Harry again? And if Meghan's influence over Harry remains strong, will he ever realize what he's lost? Because here's the thing. If Harry and Meghan's marriage ever falls apart, where does that leave him? Will he turn to William for support? Or has he burned that bridge permanently? Because right now, it's not looking good.
Well, that's a problem. If they give an interview, Prince William, never mind King Charles, you can't go tit for tat on this kind of thing because you lose. I mean, any attention to them, any response by the palace will be welcomed with open arms by Meghan and Harry. It's just another day in the news cycle. So I understand the palace's instincts to just ignore these small people who right now are just trying to make a dime on their association with William, with Charles. Do you think it's tipped over, like we've reached a tipping point where that calculation no longer works?
I do, actually, because I think that after the Netflix series and now this, sympathy for the Sussexes will grow outside Britain. and outside various areas in the United States, like the East Coast. I think across Africa and Asia, which is very important for Britain and the Commonwealth, and even in Europe, there will be sympathy for the Sussexes. People will believe what Harry has said. And most important of all, we'll see how the CBS and the ITV, British ITV interviews go down. Will the journalists interviewing Harry really challenge him about the veracity of what he is saying? Will they really say to him, come on, we can't believe you, for example, didn't hit back at William in the row in the cottage kitchen? I mean, if he is not challenged, then we know once again he has orchestrated a wonderful puff piece, just like this book and just like the Netflix series, just like the opera interview. I mean, this is an amazing Hollywood production. It's not over. It's been going on now for 2 years. There's more to come. There's a lot of money to be earned by the trashing of the royal family by Netflix, Random House, CBS, all of them. And at the moment, the royal family is just sitting there, silent lemons, having to accept all the beatings. I don't think they can carry on for much longer like that.
So, let's break it down. Meghan Markle's arrival marked the turning point in Prince Harry and Prince William's relationship. And according to Tom Bower, there may be no way back. Harry and William were the Three Musketeers with Kate, until Meghan entered the picture. Meghan clashed with William and Kate over campaigning. That's when things started unraveling. King Charles is too afraid to confront Harry. Will he ever step in? If Harry and Meghan's marriage ends, will he realize what he lost? Or is it too late? At this point, the damage may be beyond repair. And the question is, will Harry regret the choices he's made? Or will he continue on this path, completely cut off from his brother? So now the big question. Did Meghan Markle intentionally drive a wedge between Harry and William? Can they ever reconcile? And will King Charles finally do something about it? Let me know in the comments.